Strategy and Ops Consultancy, sustainability and digital transformation advisors based in Melbourne, working across APAC, Africa and beyond. Welcome back to Future of Work in a Net Zero World, a podcast from Strategy and Ops Consultancy. In our last episode, we discussed how to build a credible climate strategy to stand up to the scrutiny of regulators and the public. Today, we are tackling the hardest part of executing that strategy: cracking the code on your Scope 3 emissions. For most organizations, this is the elephant in the room. It's the complex, often messy, and largest source of your carbon footprint. So, let's move beyond the pledge and get into the puzzle of execution. The context, the elephant in the room. When a company talks about its carbon footprint, it's broken down into 3 parts, or scopes. Scope 1 is simple: the direct emissions you create from sources you own or control. Scope 2 is also straightforward: the emissions from the electricity you buy. But Scope 3 is everything else. It's the emissions from your entire value chain, from the raw materials you purchase, to the transportation of your goods, all the way to the end of life of your products. For most businesses, especially those that make or sell physical goods, Scope 3 can account for 80% or more of their total emissions. Here's the problem: these emissions are outside your direct control and visibility. Getting this right is the true test of a credible net zero strategy. Insight 1. Reframe the problem. It's a value chain challenge, not just an emissions report. The first and most critical step is to stop thinking of Scope 3 as a compliance exercise for your sustainability report. It is fundamentally a business strategy challenge about the resilience and efficiency of your value chain. Managing your Scope 3 emissions forces you to ask crucial business questions. Which of our suppliers represent the biggest climate risk to our operations? Where can we collaborate with partners to drive innovation and create new, low-carbon products? How can we build a supply chain that is not only less carbon-intensive but also more resilient to future disruption? When you frame it this way, decarbonization stops being a burden and becomes a powerful lens through which you can build a stronger, more competitive business. Insight 2. Solve the data dilemma by starting smart. The biggest obstacle for every leader is data. How do you get reliable emissions information from thousands of different suppliers? The answer is you don't, at least, not all at once. The key is a targeted, phased approach. Start with spend-based analysis. Begin by using your own procurement data. By mapping your spending by category, you can use industry average emissions factors to estimate where your biggest hotspots are. This isn't perfect, but it gives you a crucial map of where to focus your efforts. Move to supplier engagement. With your map in hand, you can now engage your most critical, high-emission suppliers directly. Instead of asking everyone for everything, you focus your resources on the 20% of suppliers likely driving 80% of your value chain emissions. Drive towards direct measurement. The ultimate goal is to get actual, primary data from these key partners. This is the most accurate and defensible information, and it's what regulators and investors will eventually demand. Insight 3. Focus on collaboration, not coercion. Finally, remember that you cannot simply mandate decarbonization across your supply chain. Your suppliers are businesses with their own challenges, and a top-down demand for data often fails. The most successful strategies are built on collaboration. Create shared incentives. Can you offer preferred supplier status or better payment terms for partners who meet specific climate targets? Build capacity. Many smaller suppliers lack the expertise to measure their own footprint. Can you provide them with training, tools, or resources to help them get started? Innovate together. Work with key partners to co-invest in new technologies or processes that reduce emissions for both of you. When you treat your suppliers as partners in a shared challenge, you move from a painful data collection exercise to a powerful strategic alliance. As our closing note, at Strategy and Ops, we specialize in helping organizations solve this decarbonization puzzle. We work with leaders to develop pragmatic, data-driven strategies to manage Scope 3 emissions, turning a complex reporting burden into a source of resilience and competitive advantage. So I'll leave you with this question: do you know who your top 10 emissions-critical suppliers are? And have you started a conversation with them about their decarbonization journey? If the answer is no, now is the time to start solving the puzzle. Thank you for listening. Hope you get some insight and see you next time. Explore our services and team. Strategy&Ops.net. Let's collaborate. info@strategyandops.net. Join our newsletter for insights and case studies. Strategy&Ops.net newsletter. Please check the link in the caption.